communities across the globe, over 700 now, are addressing the problems of climate change and peak oil, and really what's thrown into those two now are imminent economic collapse. A lot of most people really feel that things are coming to a drastic change, and they're coming to a drastic change really soon, within the next months or year or two. But it's not just the weather, it's the end result of all this crazy economic world that we've been living under for quite a while now, where basically people are just printing money, and it's not based on anything, and it's all a big hocus pocus game that a lot of people could describe in various ways, but really it's just it's a little structure of cards built on the beach that the tide is just going to come in and wash away any minute. And most people see that, and you don't get that in the main media, but it doesn't take much to just find out what's really happening in the world. And what's really happening is shakedown, breakdown, meltdown, and you got weird things happening that just last year we wouldn't have even thought about. It's bad news out there, and we are relatively protected, but our food comes up from California, and we're still only growing a little bit of our own. Even if it's going up a few percent, we're still maybe 6% at the most. And so starting a seed bank, it's all about the basic simple question is, how are we going to feed ourselves when we have to, which might be next week or very soon. So in answer to that very simple question, you have to start somewhere, and the obvious place to start, and really the only real place to start, is with the seeds. You know, it's a matter of having seeds to grow the food. The seeds come before the food. All these transition communities are talking about having food as the first priority, being self-reliant in food. But if you don't have the seeds to grow the food, forget it. We have to understand that there's certain crops that are way more important than others in terms of feeding ourselves. And if you go to any of the Seedy Saturdays, you'll see, for example, an amazing collection of tomatoes. You know, yesterday there were hundreds and hundreds of tomatoes down there. And tomatoes are great. Everybody loves tomatoes. But you know, when it comes down to really feeding yourself and feeding the community, well, you got to focus also on not just the tomatoes that you eat out of hand for a few months of the year, but you got to focus on the paste tomatoes, the ones that can give you so many great sauces to go with all your beans and grains, which are probably going to be your more substantial foods that you're going to grow. So really what it comes down to is individual choice and community choice, and it's something that's never really happened before, that a community gets together and decides, well, how are we going to feed ourselves? What foods are really important, and those are the ones that we should focus on most, because that's our something that everybody can decide to do together. But the thing is, we have an amazing start on, as do all the communities that have Seedy Saturdays across the country, because a lot of people have already learned about seed saving, and many people are quite proficient with saving seeds, and it's just a matter of a little bit of switch. You know, all these seeds are great, but it's kind of haphazard. It's great that we've been preserving all this amazing diversity of stuff, but if we just switch it around a little bit to zero in on what's the most important, because we are in, or will be in, a severe crisis before too long, and will want to have some of that together, and nobody's focused on that yet, and that's also the next switch. Not only growing the varieties, but building up seed stock, so that when the time comes, we'll be ready, and we'll have the seeds, and then we'll be able to plant them. And there's all different levels of this need to get going on pretty quickly, because most of these communities, you sense a real joy and expectation. People believe that they can do it and they're going to do it, and it's a really positive thing. But we have to put it also at the same time in the context of what's going on in terms of the rapidly increasing control of seeds with the transnational corporations that are basically biotech companies, Monsanto and like. And we've, in the past few months, we've really seen heavy-duty legislation go down, which are going to make it much more possible for the corporate seed world to be doing what they're doing and be protected, and everybody else who's saving simple, savable seeds are going to be threatened. And there's been, under the guise of food modernization in Canada and the United States, just in the past couple of months, bills have been passed which basically give the people who have the power control to such an extent that they can go anywhere, anytime, and seize whatever they want. I mean, there's different areas. There's probably some of you have heard that what's already in motion is health food products, and it's looking pretty dicey there. But also, seed companies themselves could be threatened very easily, because it's so simple for the people who make the rules to make more rules about that and make it necessary for people like Owen and myself and other people who have seed companies to, say, register every single seed that we sell, and this is what they already do in Europe, and charge $1,000 or $2,000 for every single variety, and that right away puts all the small seed companies out of business, because people like Owen, I simply couldn't afford that. But there are philanthropists out there who are now coming forward, and this kind of thing is starting to happen. But the thing is, we have to make sure not to put all our eggs in one basket. And the very best thing of all is to have a grassroots uprising, and that's what I'm here about today, to encourage people to grow seed basics. But the idea really is a really simple one, and that's if each of you could just grow one variety and save the seed. That's really substantial. I mean, look at how many people are in this room, and if all of you, or even 2/3 of you, grew just one variety and saved the seed, that's enormous. That's really, really a lot of seed, and it's a lot of varieties. And just in this room alone, if we all really got excited about seed saving, we could do a tremendous amount. I want to just say that saving seeds is a totally easy, fun thing to do, and now, all of a sudden, it's a crucial, very important thing to do. And, okay.